What is even up? It's your boy Crabman here with my boy Hackenstein. Welcome to the Hypnotic Hootout. How are you doing?
I'm fine, doing good.
Well,
Lots
that's
of
nice.
progress with the project.
Nice,
So
nice.
also some weird bugs I had. Yeah, that basically took me the whole day today.
Mm.
Now, except just one other bug I just realized, I just found. It's looking good.
Well,
How
that's
about you?
nice. Me, I'm good. Um, since I'm kind of waiting for you to send me stuff, I'm having kind of a relaxed week. Um, so that's nice. Um, yeah, I've just been doing a lot of streaming, which I'm enjoying immensely. So that is fun. Also because it means I'm finally playing some games again, instead of always just thinking about how I would like to, but never really feel like I can commit to it.
Yeah.
So win-win all around, I guess.
I also sometimes feel that as soon as you decide that you could stream, then all games you want to play are like, I could stream it, but not today. So you have another reason not to play them.
hmm Well, just do it, I would say. I mean, why not? Whether you play them alone or alone with no audience. What's the difference?
Yeah, that is true.
So, what is new this week? As the bundle for racial justice and equality has finished with quite a bit of money raised, 8.17 million for charity. That is a lot. I mean, they started
Indeed.
out with a goal of, I think, 200,000 and ended up with 8 million. That is.
That's
Holy crap.
crazy. Let me just today I found. I mean, there's the website. I thought we had this last time to find all the games,
Yeah.
and I have a new Google sheet. Obviously not mine, but let me just post it in the chat. Yeah, some guys on Reddit made this. Pretty neat. If you are looking for a way to not only search through all the games and PDFs and other stuff, but if you also want to keep track of what you've played already. This is a list. You'll have to save it as a copy for yourself. At the bottom is a tab. Are the tabs for games and stuff. And then you can put in how far you've got. If you want to skip the game, if you have already completed it.
I see why you would like this.
Yeah, I love it.
Nice.
I'm not sure if I personally will use it, to be honest, because I already know more or less what I want and downloaded a lot of the games. So obviously, 1,600 games is a bit much.
Definitely, yeah. Oh, look at that. Oh, nice, even with a little preview.
Yeah, that's
Well.
pretty neat.
Pretty cool. Yeah, I used the other one you sent last time. Just because I wanted to see like all the asset packs that that were shared in it. There were some pretty cool ones among them, like and I've been playing around with it a bit. Yeah, this one, the Mythos Reawakening, because it has that cool, kind of econom-like static, just kind of horror-y.
Yeah, old school RPG.
Yeah. Yeah, there's some really cool things in there.
The good isometric look.
Yes.
It's kind of dead too, right? There are not a lot of games doing this anymore.
They're not, but they should, and maybe it'll come back. I mean, I feel like it was kind of overused by very mediocre games, I guess. Like there were, I mean, not to like trash anybody's work or anything, but it seemed like a lot of browser games and kind of, RPGs that I didn't really enjoy playing. That all had kind of this style, and I feel like it's maybe through that turned people off to it. Is that maybe a thing? I don't know. But certainly I was kind of turned off by the genre, but I would like, to see another game like this that is actually really good. Or even make one, maybe.
Make one.
Yeah. I guess the stuff that this person is doing is pretty cool. There's also a... this was not in the pack, but same person, a piratey Caribbean one. So maybe we can remake The Last Light with this.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, we can do a prototype with this.
Yes.
Not quite, yeah. It still looks kind of cheap.
You think?
It's maybe, yeah. Looks kind of cheap. It's so 90s style.
But that's the nice thing about it. It's 90s. I mean, nostalgia. That's what it's all about. Although, what this just reminded me of is Commandos.
All right.
I gotta play that again. That's one of those games that I started like 1,000 times, especially Commandos 2. Like, I have played those first couple missions ad nauseum. So, never really finished it, but always enjoyed it. Maybe if I commit to streaming it, then I might actually finish it for once.
I'm more of a Jack the Lions 2 guy myself.
Let me look up what that looks like.
I think pretty similar to Commandos. Or maybe I'm misremembering Commandos.
No, on first glance, kind of looks like it. Probably a bit older, huh?
Possibly.
It certainly looks a little older.
Cool thing about this was that you're basically playing it on a laptop in the game. You're some kind of special operations dude person that gets hired to stage a coup, I think, or to kill a leader who staged a coup. Not sure anymore. And then you would buy your own mercenaries, send them into battle, and obviously command them as you would in any strategic turn-based game. And it's a lot with visual hiding, sound, and all that. And you can take different ways as well. That was pretty innovative at the time, I think. So you could just go directly to the dictator to attack her base, or you could go through the whole game level by level. Like you had a map of the area, and you could go scavenge all areas before and like to make your character stronger. But the longer you take, the more the enemies will train themselves, and the harder it will be to fight them.
I see.
So that's a pretty cool game.
Yeah. Yeah, the first Jacked Alliance was 95 and the first Commandos was 98. So it was a bit probably nicked, right?
I think I only played Jacked Alliance 2. So if you...
So wait, who made this? Developers Pyro Studios, and Jacked Alliance is... who made this?
Is it Sierra?
MadLab.
MadLab, okay.
But yeah, the one that I played most, Commandos 2, was 2001. That sounds about right. Okay, I don't know, it was pretty cool. And it looks pretty still. Never really got into the 3, I'm not sure why, but yeah, I still find this quite pretty. Do you also feel like this looks cheap, or?
I gotta look that up on my own.
Yeah.
Okay, can you go full screen? So you can
Let me
have a better look.
Where can I open the image?
No, I think that looks better. I think it's just more
Detail? And
yeah,
shading and stuff?
exactly, more detail. The other one is has some like the...
Guess it's a little less.
Yeah, I mean the
That's
sand
fun.
looks very tiled.
So I find this all very cool. So we'll see.
I wonder with these asset packs all the time whether I will be making anything with it, or if it's just like collecting it like magic cards. Not using it really, but yeah, collecting.
Well, maybe we need to do an asset jam. Maybe pick one of our favorite assets that we've collected and never done anything with. Just do
I think
something.
it could be a cool prompt for continuing the racial justice, like a racial justice and equality game jam with all the assets that are in the bundle. Could be cool.
Interesting. Yes,
Yeah,
actually.
sounds like a thing they should be actually doing right now, right?
I mean, it is about time that we do our Hypnotic Summer Jam again. It's been a year. It's been a year.
Yeah, but I feel like I'm not far enough with the project.
Fair enough. Well, we don't have to do it this weekend, but
Okay. I'm relieved.
Guess we can keep it in mind for maybe a couple of weeks from now. When actually did we do this?
There are the game jams. So, well, there's not one yet. The low res jam is coming up. Like low res jam.
Okay, so we did this end of August, so it's the latest we should.
Right. Yeah, that's cool. I mean, I would love to do this, but another thing with the asset packs is that they also seemingly they always have just like 1 or 2 scenes, and then you can start with this, but the game you're working for immediately needs more than this, and then you're kind of stuck with this, and you can't recreate the look, and that's always a bit problem with these.
Yeah, I guess that's true. I mean, just for a jam, it should be sufficient, I guess. You don't really need to make a full game.
Yeah, could be a great limitation to work around with.
Yeah. And it doesn't need to be perfect either, just to give an idea. Because that's kind of what I was thinking about with the Mythos pack. Like I've tried to figure out the Tiocept thing and everything a bit. Still confused. I'm sure you can tell me a lot about that by now, but yeah, to basically not overthink if it's perfect or anything. I mean, that's kind of what we talked about yesterday, I think. To not really worry so much and just make something with what you have and what you can do.
Yeah,
So for
don't
that,
try to make it perfect or good, even just creative.
yeah. Because I mean, in the end, all those things, they don't really matter. That was something that I found really interesting in, what was it called? Wet Hot American Summer. But not the movie, the first season of the series. I didn't enjoy the second one, but the first one, I thought it was awesome. It's so weird. Basically absurdist humor.
Yeah.
But you can see that it works, like structurally, mechanically. The way the story is constructed, it works. It's just expressed in the most nonsense way possible. But the mechanics are still there, so it still functions the way it should, and you still feel the tension, even though there's this one scene where one of the kids is being, the 40-year-old kids, is being chased by the cook because he insulted him. And so he hides in the kitchen. There's another cook there who's trying to hide him, and he puts a pot on his head. And so the cook who hunts him comes in, and he doesn't see him. And then he makes like a little noise, like, and then he turns around, like looks past him standing right in front of him with a pot on his head, and he holds his mouth, and you have the exact same thing as if they're hiding in an actual closet or something. It's just done in the dumbest way possible, but it still works. And and so that's the thing. It doesn't even matter if the polish or the presentation or anything is really on point or whatever. You can make. I mean, that's a feeling also I had with the Dominique Pamplemousse. That, I mean, that was not exactly a profound story or anything, but the way it just kind of did what it could with what it had, added up to a lot of charm.
Yeah,
I
didn't get the charm from Wet Hot American Summer though. It felt like it's very overproduced and trying to be silly, although like they have all the means and they use them, but they are trying to do it like pretend like they haven't, or to be like the stupid, I don't know, stupidity. I didn't quite enjoy it. I bounced right off. Didn't get the humor, I guess. And Dominique Pamplemousse, very different. I mean,
oh, certainly.
Yeah,
very different things. Yeah, no. I guess I'm. Sorry.
There's so much great stuff in Dominique Pamplemousse. I especially enjoyed that, like, her gender is always like mentioned, like at the sides. Everyone is like questioning it, not sure which one it is, and it's
their
never...
gender, I think, would be appropriate here.
Oh yeah, their gender, yeah. Right. And yeah, I love that even in the end, when she's like confronted with mother and daughter, and each calls them a different gender, that nobody even waits for her to respond what she would like, or what they would like to. That's hard for me.
You're having real trouble with the neutral pronouns, huh?
Yeah. I'm not used to it. Yeah, it takes time. It's not easy. I mean, it's not hard to try, but yeah, if you're just in the flow and their name is Dominique, for me that's okay. It's female, so that's, yeah, no second thought there with misgendering her. Them.
See.
Yeah. No. Yeah. I need some time to like install like a special module that comes in between. Just like if you for so long you're used to it's just he or she, then like getting something in between, something third in between, it's very hard. I mean, even if there are people like in the Signs of Sojourner, if you remember that, there's one person with the one arm missing, and the person looks the person looks female, but the name is Klaus. Obviously, the gender is never discussed in the game, but it was very hard for me, even though the name is Klaus, not to use female pronouns on the person. You really have to reprogram yourself for this.
Yeah. I mean, I guess it's odd in the beginning, also because we don't have neutral pronouns in German. But I don't know, it just takes a little bit of practice, and especially because you would probably use this anyway if you talk about like an undefined sort of, if you talk about like not a specific person, but about someone in general. Like if you say the police attacked a protester and they went down, because you're not saying specifically that was a woman or that was a man, you're just talking about someone in general, then you use the neutral anyway, and stuff like that. So it's a minor, it's a bit of practice, of course, but you get used to it.
I mean, often enough, like the default is the man, right? And he went down. It's just obviously that's how we are. I mean, at least how I was taught this without second thought, which makes it for me difficult to change this. But obviously,
I guess in German we don't really have a good option. I'm sure there's some ideas floating around, but with those I have more trouble with, like these new, like, I'm not even sure how to pronounce it, but with an XIR, Zia.
But are they in German?
I believe we have them. See, that's a thing again, because everything I consume and read up on is always in English, so I'm not even sure how we're handling this in German. I'm sure there's I mean, obviously our trans and non-binary communities, they surely have solutions for this, but I have not read up enough on how we are doing that. Just by default we don't really have all our pronouns that we learn in school. They're all kind of gendered, even like the when you talk about groups or something, that's still the same gender terms. You're still saying sie when you're talking about a group of people. Sie marschierten durch die Straßen. Yeah, it's still
true.
So you can't even use like the, they or something. We don't have it. Well, I mean, as I said, I'm sure there's things that have come up. But yeah, I think I saw this like Zia and something like this. But that I have trouble, because it's like a word that doesn't exist. And that feels, I would need much more practice with that. Because, in English saying they, that works for me, because I don't have that strong connection to that is always talking about a group, but just like undefined. So that's a word that I know that works. But yeah, this other stuff I will first have to learn about and look up, and then practice a lot more.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? Practice makes perfect. It's just how it is. But I think it's worth it just to make like people feel better.
I mean, obviously it's not really that much of a hardship as some people make it out to seem. Oh my god, I can't possibly learn to say a different word. That is so silly.
Yeah, but I gotta say, if I'm not like really conscious about it, I forget immediately. So I wouldn't say it's easy, but you don't have to do anything for this. I think it's
I mean easy in terms of it's probably a lot harder to be misgendered all the time. So like the
Yeah, for sure.
discomfort. So I mean easy in terms of the discomfort of trying to learn to say a different word, because it's like
Yeah,
literally
no,
nothing at all.
no. I'm not really. It's not a discomfort at all.
Yeah,
To be
no,
honest.
it's just
It's
that's just what I meant by easy. Yeah.
it takes practice, and if you're not like around people who have a different gender, you just don't do it, and then your brain doesn't pick it up, and you don't get to train it, to
Yeah.
practice it.
Yeah,
That's all.
definitely. Yeah, and I think from what I understand, the general consensus, in as far as I read about it, is also that it's not. The problem is not that you get it wrong sometimes. The problem is the people who then double down and like insist on getting it wrong, or like get defensive when they're being told that that was not the right one, and are like, no, I refuse to say a different name. Like, I mean, obviously that's just pure willful ignorance, and especially when you try to, like, when someone comes out and says like, this is my new name, like, what's the difference? You meet this person for the first time, why do you specifically seek out their old name to learn it and then call him that? That's obviously, is that a hate crime? I feel like it should be if it's not, because it's obviously,
well, it's hard to make it a hate crime, I think, because like with the other one, if you knew the person before and you're very used to the name, it is hard to change it. I mean, a cousin of mine, she just switched from her first name to her second name, and it's a bitch to get used to it. You're
that's
just
a
so
gendered
used.
slur.
I'm sorry. It's it's hard. It's just hard to get it. I actually wanted to decrease my cursing as well, because I don't want to put in a Twitch stream major content warning on my stream, or on this stream.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's weird. It's just, I think, because most of my English is from movies, and they curse so much in most movies I like. That's where that is coming from.
Yeah, I try to reduce it on these things that we're doing. I am conscious of it when I do. Like, I notice when I'm like, fuck that. There's a moment of should I?
Fiddlesticks.
But yeah, especially I mean, I love cursing. It's just there's like a nice punch for the sentence in there. But yeah, also definitely reducing like gendered slurs and all kind of stuff that is like built on putting others down, like with ableism and everything. It's just so difficult, and then it's not difficult, but I mean, sometimes
it doesn't hurt you, but it's difficult to perfect, right? To really get it down to.
Well, the thing where I only struggle with that sometimes. I mean, sure, sometimes it slips out. And then, I make a note to try not to do that anymore. But because all those things that are built on hate have such power, sometimes I want to use a word and there's no alternative, When you talk about certain bigots or certain presidents or something, I just want to call them the C word because there's no other word that has that same vitriol to it. But obviously that vitriol comes from the hatred of women, so there is a bit of a...
Really? The hatred of women?
Well, it's yes.
Yeah, I know. I guess that's the origin, but does the strength of the word come from the hatred against women, or is it just like the perfect word as the perfect slur or a perfect insult?
Yeah, but
like,
what makes it an insult?
Great.
Because you call someone a female organ, so if that is insulting, like if I called you an arm, it wouldn't be an insult, Why not?
I guess you're right, but it's not that I consciously think of the female organ.
No, but it's just that's what it's rooted in. Yeah, it's the same as like when I was younger and dumber, so like 5 years ago, I don't know, during uni, there was this campaign, spread the word to stop the word, to stop the R word, from mentally disabled. And I was like, this is a word that I like calling people who annoy me. And of course, it's rooted in ableism. But, part of me was like, but does it really mean that? Would I call a disabled person this? Because they're not. Because to me, this means willfully stupid. But obviously, all of this is rooted in ableism, and there's then no arguing really about that it's not a good thing, especially if the community themselves tells you this is not a good thing. Then to say, well, actually, I don't use it like this is probably not the best
It's
response.
a medical term. It was a medical term. Yeah, I heard it as well, and I like that word as well. Like the C word, the R word, both they just sound really insulting. Just the sound, and then obviously we see it's someone who's just, for me, it's someone who's just like very ungrateful and like malicious. And the R word for me is just someone who's incapable of getting it, because he's just not capable of getting it. I guess that's already the description.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That one
It's
actually I have
sad,
the most trouble
but
with. I want to call people the R word all the time because they're being willfully ignorant. But and then you can't say anything. Calling someone a moron doesn't pack the same punch, and I'm not even sure. I'm sometimes not sure if stupid and moron and idiot and all these things, if they also have like a problematic connotation.
I'm sure they have.
I'm not sure. So I try to avoid it also, just, to be on the safe side, I guess. But yeah, I don't know. I guess no matter how you mean it, it's still rooted in something problematic. Like when calling things you don't like gay or something. Even if you don't say, oh, I don't have a problem with homosexuality. If you consider gay synonymous with bad, then that's probably not good.
Yeah. But gay, I think gay is like another category again, because gay, and if I use it, I'm not really, or I use it, it's not really an insult so much as a joke. So I would never use the word like I use the C or the R word.
No, sure. It's like a jokey insult. Sort of.
It's just like, gay. And it's just
still
funny somehow. Yeah. Obviously, it's not correct, and maybe that's part of the fun even.
It's all rooted in the hatred of the other, and I mean, that jokes perpetuate this sort of stuff and like make it like palatable and everything. That's all part of the problem, I guess. How did we get here?
It's weird. It's just I get how these words are funny, or even like jokes are funny that aren't like politically correct, and I do like to hear them, and sometimes I tell them, but I really make sure that there's nobody who can hear me except the people who understand that this is a joke, and who I don't have to explain that I'm not for these, or because I had like friends of mine who are really really left active, and they are sitting like around on the street and making like just funny Nazi jokes, or anti-Jew jokes, because obviously they know that it's a joke, and everyone around them should know, but like on the street it's especially because like it was in front of our inclusive bar. So it was really the wrong place to do it. But I told them every time they did it, I told them that that's just not the right place for this. It's tough, because you do take something away from people and they don't like it. Although obviously there is a reason for this, and it's really not that big of a deal to not do this.
It
Yeah.
really isn't. And it's also obviously all these things. I mean, I also, like, in school and everything would do, Nazi jokes and racist jokes and everything, and thinking, it's so funny because I obviously don't mean it, so that's why it's funny and everything. But
It's so edgy too.
yeah, so edgy. And but I feel like the thing is, it's really a privileged thing to think that is something you can joke about because you're so not close to it. And I feel like I didn't even have to be told not to make these jokes anymore and felt like I was losing something. That just happened the more I learned about all of these issues. And then it just becomes automatically not funny because it's not as obvious, how you feel about these things. And you're more aware of like the real harm and hurt behind them. So it's not a
Exactly.
mental exercise anymore of, I'm going to say something super edgy and racist right now. Funny because everyone knows that racism is bad. Clearly, not everybody does. And clearly, in the moment where I say this, I'm not thinking about what it actually means. And
Yeah.
so,
And
yeah.
in these cases, I like today. I think of the people who might have heard them, and I feel shame because like some people might overhear our conversation and think that I agree with this, so I obviously have to say something against it. It's just uncomfortable, and yeah.
Yeah. Also, there's funnier jokes. I mean, I think
Yeah.
we've all grown out of the age where we think edginess is the height of comedy.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
yeah.
So
I guess we
it's
get here from. Oh, sorry.
yeah. I was just trying to do a segue, right? Because it's easy enough to change, and you know what's also easy enough to change?
Tell me all
Uh,
about it.
it's your master branch in GitHub to main branch, because GitHub has now
Can we do
decided
this now?
that master is a bit problematic, so they now force renaming to main, or I'm not sure how technically it works, but they want everything to be changed to main instead of master because obviously of the master slave connotations.
Yeah.
I only heard of it because on R programming there was a change.org petition against it. And all the
Really?
programmers, yeah, with I think 1,500 upvotes when I saw it, like a couple of hours after it was posted. Yeah, I I wanted to close it. I wanted to just stay out of it, but yeah, I just realized that it's
What are you losing by
yes.
changing this name? What are you losing that you have to make a petition against?
Well, it does break a couple of things, so you have to manually change it on your end. I think it's a bit complicated. It's not that it does make make work for the people who are on GitHub, as far as I know.
Does it? I mean, is it not just a label that gets loaded when you open a page or something? I mean, I have never really seen this like used. Like also when I check out a repository or something, the main branch is just the one that I get downloaded. There's not a folder that says main that has to be renamed or something. It's just there, and then you have the branches folder with the rest. So, I mean, I'm sure there's something that I don't use it as extensively.
Let's say that there is some work. For me, it was like, how much are you willing to do? Is this already enough? And like everyone is yeah. Basically, that's what I posted. I said like, this is like, it's an indicator of how willing you are to change something to the people of color. If it's just like one person who looks at the main and doesn't think like, why is it called master? Like, why do we have to use this? It's good enough for me. But yeah, people are really not willing to change stuff that doesn't really affect them and makes them work. and they are not really willing to engage with the.
Oh, sorry. Why are you getting stuck? What's going on?
Yeah, looks like we're stuck.
You
Okay,
were.
okay.
That was of interest. You were just
Uh-huh.
stuck right now. I couldn't hear you anymore. You got all electronic for a second. So it was just the last 5 seconds or something.
Yeah, I don't think I said anything new. It's just as easy as that. People are unwilling to change if it doesn't affect them, if it doesn't benefit them, even though it doesn't really hurt you. You are unwilling, and yeah, you gotta think about it. I feel it shows you just how hard it is to change the status quo if you are already against changing your master branch to the main branch. If this is too much, and then
Yeah,
to their credit, our programming deleted and banned the post a couple of hours
nice.
later. So there is not a post anymore.
Good. Yeah, because it's so weird. I mean, it's that people are like, well, yes, I'm all for equality, but this is going too far. This.
And not too far. They all said like it doesn't do anything, so we shouldn't do it.
But why?
Yeah.
But why not? Why not do it
And
anyway?
who says it doesn't do anything? Is this you are saying this, but the people who were upset enough to petition the change, or the GitHub people who thought that it might be time to change, they thought it would change something. So why not go on board with this? It's not that hard, and it's for a good cause.
Yeah. I mean, even if it doesn't do anything, why not do it anyway?
Yeah.
It's... Oh, well. People.
Yeah. But I also have some good news.
Ooh, yes, please.
Yeah. Okay, so Berlin introduces a new anti-discrimination law. Have you heard of that?
No. Have I? No.
Thought so. Yeah, they're currently. I'm not sure if it's introduced yet or if they are still discussing it. But by that law, people will be able, or it will be easier for people to, what's that called again? To sue the group, basically the organizations, the government of organizations, if they can make it believable that they were discriminated against. So before, you could already do this, you could sue, but you had to have, oh man, it's hard in English. Man muss halt Beweise haben.
You have proof.
Yeah, you have to prove that you were discriminated against. And this is basically impossible because all the information is on the other side. You only see that you didn't get the house, that you didn't get the loan, that you are being pulled out of traffic over and over again by the police. So now you can just go there. There will be a couple of places where you can just easily go, and they will help you file a complaint. And then the government organization, what's that called again? The government branch, like the police, the Berlin police, they have to prove that it was not discrimination. So they have to prove that there was a reason for it. And of course, CDU and CSU are completely against it because we don't have any racism in German, at least not like in the US. So there's no reason for that. And the police is also very unhappy with this. The police union says now everyone will be under Generalverdacht.
I guess, general suspicion.
Yeah, because they have to prove that they weren't discriminatory against people, but obviously that's not the case.
Oh no!
It's only the case if someone else can make it believable that they were discriminated against. So there's still a hurdle for people who have been discriminated to show believably that that this was really discrimination. But it's much easier. And similar ruling is for doctors, for example. If a doctor makes an error during his work, it's hard for you to prove that he did something wrong. So you only have to make it believable, and then he has to prove that it wasn't a mistake, but there was a reason for it. And that's just the same thing that will be happening for all government branches in Berlin. Yeah, and the police unions, they are actively spreading misinformation,
Yes,
telling the officers that the police officers will have to pay if they will be found guilty, which is not the case, obviously. The government branch has to pay because they are responsible for making their people aware of the issues.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that's a big win, I think.
And is this only Berlin, or is this gonna be nationwide?
Only Berlin for now.
Okay. So it might be rolled out further.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's not unusual that they start like with one state, Bundesland.
Sure.
And then if this works out great, they usually spread it overall. So here's for hoping it will stick around. It's a good first step.
Yeah, not surprising that those in power don't like responsibility and accountability systems.
Yeah.
Wonder why.
Again. Well, so I have a similar feeling with this, with the GitHub change. It's like, I mean, if this isn't a problem, then the new regulation shouldn't be much of a change. And if it's a problem, then we need it. So there's really no reason not to do it, at least in my eyes.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Because I mean, if you're not doing anything wrong, you should be able to prove it, right? It's not that hard. Because if you have actual reasons, then you can certainly show what they are, right?
Yeah, my fear is that it will always be pretty easy to prove anyway. So
likely,
it will not. Yeah, it will not be the end of discrimination in Germany or in Berlin. But yeah, good first step.
Guess you gotta start somewhere and then keep improving the system until it works.
Yeah.
I guess that's all we can all do. Hey, Nosity. Nice to have you back. Nosity's saying that feeling when your lecturer states the telltale opinion of a Nazi in his mock voice and someone thinks they're serious and starts agreeing loudly. Yeah, awkward. But also, I feel like a good example of why jokes it's just a bad idea. Still putting the ideas out there, and there's always going to be someone who thinks you're serious and takes them on. So I guess one should just not joke about certain things. And even if, I guess that's kind of the thing, right? That we didn't feel that we were doing anything wrong when we were making very, very bad jokes because we were like, oh no, we know. But in the end, first of all, you really don't, kind of. I mean, I think it's fair to say that we are just full of problematic ideas and thinking patterns and everything, and it's probably not even true when we thought to ourselves, oh, we know we're not racist, because clearly that's not true, but then also, yeah, the other person who hears it behind you, maybe it gets stuck in your head a little bit at least, because even just thinking it's not that big of a problem is already part of the problem.
Yeah.
Anyway, I guess we got here because of Dominic Pamplemousse and using the right pronouns, right?
Yeah, my failure to do so. Yeah. I mean, it's just us, I guess. We always go to these topics. I hope we are not appearing to be too preachy, but it's just something that we think a lot about, and that I think is a good thing. And I think it's also a good thing that we're not like getting all this stuff and going right to the funny, jokey. I don't know. It's just I still feel a bit weird about all the game releases and stuff that are now coming out, while still in the US they have they struggle with change and their president and all that stuff, and it feels so dire. And then you posted that thing about Yemen, and then I had to find out what's going up in Yemen again. Wow, yeah.
Yeah, I haven't even gotten around to like fully getting into that. It's Jesus, there's so much going on. Everything's so terrible.
Yeah, I just watched the Al Jazeera primer on Yemen. That's pretty good to give you a rough idea of how dire things are there. And boy, are they dire, oh, man. But yeah, it's got me to think very deeply about the human state.
Yeah.
Man, it's so weird because we are social animals and we like to bond together, and that this was like, as far as I know, like the thing that propelled us to populate and get so big presence around the globe. That then we came into conflict with each other, and then we had, obviously, we needed to start, probably, or maybe we didn't need to, but like this group think where like the inside group is your tribe and the outside they are the enemies and you have to fight them. And yeah, and I mean, obviously we are at in a state now where we really have to change this way of thinking to survive.
Yeah.
We have like huge problems with global warming and stuff that we can only battle if we stop this group think and stop battling each other and find some way of accepting and helping each other, even though like we might look a little bit different. And yeah, the only way I see to change our minds is not by like preaching it to people who are living now, but to teach it to those who are growing up now. It's the only hope I see, because, and that even might be too late, looking at how long it takes to really change things politically, for example.
Well, I still feel it needs to start with the people living now. Because, I mean, even if you and I start teaching this to our children, those other people we're not teaching it to, they're going to teach them other stuff. And yeah, I just don't see really a chance of there ever being a next generation that is smarter than this one if this one isn't getting fixed, because then the foundation is just rotten. And yeah, I don't know. We just kind of need to be more comfortable with being uncomfortable. I see that as the biggest problem. Because, I mean, I've noticed it over the past few weeks, especially, and as you say, with, how are we presenting ourselves online in these times right now when it's really kind of doesn't matter what we're doing. And of course, I noticed that, in trying to craft our, announcements or statements and everything, then really thinking a lot about how I'm just watching my words a lot more than I used to. And at the same time, it was like, this is probably how most people feel all the time. And it's really kind of a very lucky and privileged position for me to be in, that I don't have to think about this usually. And I'm now getting into contact with something that other people who always have to watch their step, who always have to watch what they're saying, how they're saying it and everything, that yeah, maybe it is good how, because it is, I don't want to, make this, when I say it's difficult, and I'm not trying to say that this is in any way comparable to what, marginalized people have to put up with or anything. I'm just noticing it's more difficult than it used to be, even a couple weeks or months ago. But that also just speaks to the incredible privilege, that I have, that I never had to think about it much. And I just could say whatever, whenever, and it would probably be okay. Maybe someone would be upset, but the majority would be on my side, so whatever, kind of a thing. And now to trying to be more conscious, trying to not just be well-meaning, but actually trying to do well. Because obviously I'm well-meaning, but what does that mean? I'm still messing up and everything. And even I was kind of I was looking over the stuff that I had written for the day, because I was kind of curious. There was a couple of things that I had in the back of my mind where I was like, was it actually an okay thing to say? And obviously I wrote that 7 years ago, but there were just a couple of A-sides in there where I make comparisons where I'm now like, is this actually okay? And then reading through it, I'm like, okay, in this text, I am centering myself all the time. And I just have kind of a strange relationship to it now. I'm not really sure if I'm gonna try to change it much, because I'm not sure how yet. And I guess also my goal with it was to talk to people like me, not to talk to other victims or marginalized people, but to talk to basically the straight white male cis gamer. And maybe that talking about myself is the way to connect with that, right? So there's a lot of things to figure out, but especially this, how am I centering myself and everything? There's a lot of thought that I'm now trying to put into it that I didn't even do a couple months ago, right? And at the same time, the thought occurred to me while I was like, oh wow, I'm always on edge now. I was like, actually, this is a good thing probably, to be on edge, to do this work, to be uncomfortable, basically. Because in the end, it's probably worth it. It's probably doing a good thing. And it's actually not so bad. I'm not gonna, I'm not that affected. Yes, I'm being a little bit more careful, but really, it's not so uncomfortable being uncomfortable. And I think if we got more comfortable with that, it would probably be a lot more easy.
Growth happens outside of your comfort zone. That's something I heard somewhere, and I always try to remind myself of, because I too tend to make it very comfortable where I am, and I like to stay in the comfort zone as much as possible. You stagnate if you do this. You have to get out of it. You have to look at things you don't want to. You have to consider ideas you don't really feel comfortable with. And you're right. We can't just wait for the next generations to grow up and save us or save the humanity or this planet. That's not what I was suggesting. It's just that I often feel very hopeless about what we can actually do. Obviously, I think we should try to do as much as we can, but even this, in my mind, will not be enough. So my hope always goes out to the next generations who grow up with much better media, for example, because I think media really
Shapes people.
shapes us. Yeah, shaped us. I mean, like in Germany, we had a lot of Pippi Langstrumpf, and I think that was like a great boon to the punk movement in Germany, and all the hippies and all that stuff. Because yeah, I think like really progressive media for kids and children helps them a lot to affect change as well in their parents. For example, my parents reminded me that I was like a huge fan of just animals because we watched a lot of animal stuff, and there was always at the end like this caveat that we are losing a lot of animals right now. When back in the day when I grew up, it wasn't like it wasn't all the animals are dying, but it was just like specific ones, like the tigers or some special bird here and there. And yeah, I nagged my parents over and over again until they bought me like a monthly donation ship to Greenpeace. Because yeah, I really wanted to do something, and I felt that we need to do something as a child even.
Yeah.
That was all of the media. My parents didn't teach me this. My school didn't teach me this. This was just me watching, I guess, like animal movies, animal documentaries, and all that stuff.
Yeah. I guess. I mean, I'm sure you don't mean it like that, but just when you say, the next generation, they will probably that. Always sounds a little bit to me like a magic fix, and like so we can't do anything now. So we like. I know you don't mean it to be complacent or anything, but it sounds like a thing of where one could get complacent because the future will fix it.
Definitely.
When also, of course, for the kids, that's what I kind of meant, for the kids to grow up better. We need to teach them better. But if we teach ours and the idiots over there, they teach theirs, then there's still going to be a whole bunch of idiots. And of course, the media that should be better also needs to be made by us. So all of these things, that's why I'm, yes, that's just what I meant.
Okay, want to go to a lighter topic?
Let's. But that just real quick, as a sort of positive note, what's happening right now, I feel like, is really doing a lot and is working a lot. And you see that all these protests and all this global, all this thing that is also sparking us to think more about it and to do better and everything. It seems to happen for a lot of people. And you see that there's, legislation discussed and everything. Like, these changes like GitHub and everything. Obviously, it's getting to those in power. They hear it somehow for once. I mean, it's not like this hasn't been said over the last 100 years a lot of times, but it seems to like finally have reached critical mass that there's something really happening now. And I guess I will be excited to see because hopefully the momentum will just keep going. That we're not getting lazy now. And because the media is telling us that it's slowing down and everything's solved, that we believe that and stop. But that something's happening, and then maybe we're already on our way for a generation that gets to learn, grow up in a more compassionate world. That would be certainly nice.
Hopefully, yeah.
So yes, what other pleasant topics do you have?
Have you seen the new Humble Bundle? Because obviously after each's huge success, they wanted to do basically the same thing. So they did.
Which I guess is good, but also
there's something a little bit. 100% of all income goes to 3 very good efforts. Nothing should land in Humble Bundles.
Let's check
Couch
that
are
out.
the developers. Yeah, I looked that up.
Okay, yes, there's no tip or anything.
Yeah, no tip. Nothing for developers. And yeah, they're actually quite a few great games. The only caveat I think is you have to, which isn't too bad, you have to pay at least €28 to get the games. But they're pretty premium games. I mean, Baba Is You is great. Hyperlight Drifter is awesome.
So
Belanki, I
is
played a lot.
that $30 or something? I guess so.
Something around that, yeah. And it's 49 games, I think, and then lots of PDFs and ebooks as well.
Ooh, this War of Mine.
Yeah.
Good. This also always interested me, mostly because it's Rutger Hauer on the cover.
I mean, a couple of games probably most people have already, like
Oh yeah, I have
FTL
most of
is a
these.
huge game. It's a great game. It's not huge, but it's great.
Hey, a new beginning. I worked on that.
Yeah, I saw that too.
Actually, I designed the thing accidentally. The title logo thing. Well.
Yeah, definitely worth the money. I think like Elite Dangerous, I'd like to try too.
What's this? That looks like a typical Humble Bundle game.
Yeah. It's got a cool soundtrack, I think. I mean, it's called Mirror Moon EP, so better have good soundtrack.
Oh, but is this by the... It's not by the Sword and Sorcery people, right?
Something Brothers?
Yeah, right. So
Not sure.
Because they also called it the Sword and Sorcery EP.
Yeah. I mean, you can click on the link, right, to see, maybe?
Let's see what happens.
Is it the publisher or developer? Must be the
Now there's a question.
publisher, right?
I don't know. Well, it says it's a studio. So I guess it's the people who made it.
Wheels of the Voya I want to look into as well.
Ooh, Neocab.
Yeah, that looked cool as well.
There was one. Something with Cloud Punk or something. That is like a, 3D pixely Blade Runner type thing.
Right. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Cloudpunk, I think is the name. It looks pretty cool.
Yes.
God damn it, the style, the colors, the look is pretty awesome.
So
and it does look,
yeah, I need to have that.
Unfortunately, in neither bundle, as far as I know.
I'm one of those people. I gotta wait for a sale. I have no money.
Yeah. I also have.
$20.
I think I've donated a little bit too much the last couple of weeks.
I have certainly over donated. Yeah. Oh well. I guess that's just a circle of life. Donate everything, and then I make a GoFundMe to get money back to donate some more.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's just like a couple of weeks of drinking water instead of beer here, so it's healthy as well.
I should probably do that as well to get rid of some of that Corona fat. What can you do if there's nothing to do but sit around and eat?
I mean, you can go out and jog, for example.
What? That sounds dangerous. So anyway, this looks really cool. But we were at NeoCap. What is NeoCap up to? Where is it? There it is. Already into it.
I'm not sure if I like the style, the graphics.
And just the synthwave is
Ah, okay. Yeah, I can hear that.
already. Oh, right. Yes.
But I like the idea.
Wait, so is this like a visual novel or?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I wouldn't call it a visual novel, I think. I think you can drive the cab. I mean, it would be, yeah, stay on the road, stay on the search. Yeah, I think you can drive the car and then you have dialogues.
Oh, I guess I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, like games where you can drive in.
No. Ah, and then there's a bunch of books and stuff. Well, looks like a good bundle. I mean, obviously, anything is gonna pale in comparison now.
But can you scroll up again?
Yeah.
Just go over the games for 1 second.
Oh, okay.
Oh, all right, 2 million already. So they will be trying to to get that HIO number. Yeah, Kerbal Space Program is apparently a great game, and not really my thing. Titan Quest is like a Diablo clone. I didn't like it very much.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I could play like NBA 2K, 2K20, right?
Really?
Could see myself. Yeah, I mean, back in the day, I loved like skating games and basketball. It was just like the stuff you played on your PS2. My friend had one. Could see myself playing this. If you scroll a little bit more down, FTL obviously is a great game, but never was a great fan of it. Somehow, have you played that?
Very briefly. It's not my kind of game.
Yeah, I felt it was a bit too tough on the randomness, and I didn't like replaying over and over again just because I was unlucky. You played BioShock?
Not all the way through. I've played it a couple hours in, and then it's one of those games that I, close and then somehow never start up again.
Yeah.
Even though I find it really cool and interesting and I want to play it, maybe another thing where I can just commit to streaming and force myself to keep doing it.
It's cool. This War of Mine is obviously a great game. Haven't played it, but I've watched a lot of videos about it. Doesn't look like a game I want to play. Just feels too bleak.
It is pretty bleak, yeah.
I love good things about it. And the Space, I think, is an 4X game, right?
What is 4X?
Explore, expand, explore, exploit, exterminate, or something.
Space to escape the United Empire. Little did we realize we were not running away from one.
There's no gameplay.
Others have also discovered the things left behind by the
See, that's what I'm always saying about our teaser stuff. Nobody cares. Just want to see how it plays.
Or through war.
I think both, a little bit of both is the best. I want to see that. I want to get into the mood and the atmosphere before I want to see the gameplay. But I do want to see the gameplay, and I want to see it clearly, so I know. Obviously that's that's how I would play it. That's
Like,
what it would feel like to play it.
I'm pretty sure like this is not what you play.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like it. So this is like the only thing I just saw about gameplay, or?
To gain control of stars, resources, and technologies. But most of all, we must control
I think
the
you
dust
colonize
of
different
the alliances.
planets. You have to interact with different races and all that shebang. Yeah, I'm looking more forward for Amarillo.
For what?
One above that. We can just go to Overlord 2. I love Overlord. Overlord was such a great game. I didn't finish it, but it's just the idea that you're the bad guy. It feels a lot like Dungeon Keeper back in the day. Like this kind of bad guy. And then you have your minions. You can send them everywhere with push of a button. And you have different colored minions who can do different things better. And then, if, for example, if you send them in a house to plunder, and then they will find like different items and like pots and put them on their head for protection. And it's just so lovely, so great. I'm not sure why I never finished it. Probably the same thing, just too big of a break. Never played Overlord 2 because, although I always had it, because I always thought I should probably finish part 1 first.
Yeah, I know the problem.
If you scroll up, the right side, Amarillo.
Oh.
Turn-based game. Role-playing game meets, I don't know, board game or something. Yeah. Cool animations as well, like the trailer looks neat, but there will be some gameplay. Also, hey, Wendazil. Glad that you've made it and joined us.
Say. Yeah, I gotta say, I find... So I get what they mean on Steam when they say in the back end, you know, don't upload cinematic, just upload gameplay, because I am so annoyed that I had to wait a minute now. Like, see, I just want to know what I'm gonna be playing.
Yeah.
Like, I know how movies work. That's not what I'm gonna be buying. So all this stuff looks nice and all, but this is what I wanna... Not this.
Yeah. I mean, this works if you already know the game. If you know what the game is about, then I want to see, like, for instance, if they have a new Diablo trailer, Diablo 4 or 5 or whatever, then yeah, I just want to see like cool animations, want to see story and all that. I know how the game will play out, but Amarillo I never heard of. I want to see gameplay first and then
yeah,
or both, like in one. Possible. Yeah, apparently it's a very, very neat game.
Yeah, I mean, certainly it looks interesting. But is this like for the trailer, or is this going to be cutscenes? Or?
I think there are cutscenes as well, but I'm not too sure. Never played it, but yeah, I will play it. I had it on my wish list.
I have played this one.
Oh, nice. That's also in the itch.io bundle, I think. Right?
Have I played this one? 2018? That doesn't sound right.
Or was that something else?
12. Like... State-of-the-art technology.
Okay, now this is different. What am I thinking of? Is there another game called Surviving Mars? Because I'm thinking of like a 2D side-scrolling thing where you like go deeper into caves and everything. Is that not also called
something Mars? Something about Mars, yeah. I think.
Wait, let me quickly
Exploring Mars.
Look into my Steam library. Waking Mars. Oh,
Waking Mars,
so that's what I was thinking of. Let's see, Waking Mars. Yeah, this is.
Surviving Mars, not in the itch.io bundle. I must have had it from somewhere else.
Yes, this I kind of enjoyed. It was one of the earlier Humble bundles. That's why I was confused by 2008. But I guess this is something else then.
Yeah.
Kingdom. That's something I think I
But
always think
unfortunately-
looks cool, but then the gameplay is something entirely different than what I want.
Oh, it's very chilled. I played Kingdom Classic a fair bit. I'm a bit surprised that they didn't do the new Kingdom in there, but I guess I understand it. And it's very cool. You're just in your horse and you ride from left to right, collect coins, and then with the coins you can build structures. They are pre-placed. You can only go there and push down to upgrade or build it. It's very, very elegantly made.
Maybe
You
I'll give
yourself,
it a try.
you can't fight. But yeah, I never got that far. It's very, very, very chill, very neat atmosphere.
I guess I always hope that these things have more that they're a bit more adventure-like, or more RPG-y. So what is this game where you always go down another level and it's a 1 versus 1, also very nice pixel graphics that I think we used as kind of a, what do you call it? To kind of talk about what we want from our artists. I forget everything.
I need a little bit more details.
It was very, very simple. So you had a knight or something, and you would always try to beat something that is attacking, and then you would go down another level and you try to clear the entire 12 levels or something, and then you have cleared the area. There's always a 1 versus 1, and you can do shield and attack or something. And it's really gorgeous pixel graphics, very 8 or 16-bit like. I'll try to find it. Is there another one that you want to look at while I do that?
Gunner is pretty neat.
Gunner?
Yeah.
Blueberry? Also by Raw Fury. That's the same people as the Kingdom one, right?
Possibly, but that's just a publisher.
Oh, that's a publisher. Okay. I see.
Yeah, they didn't want our game, unfortunately.
Oh, have we tried?
So, Vendisil says Kingdom is the first of 3 parts. I did not know that. I only know Kingdom, the classic one. Then there's Kingdom New Land, I think. And the third one I haven't even heard about.
Wait, did the trailer just disappear?
Yeah.
What?
That's not too bad.
Is that when I tap out? Oh, okay, because I was trying to look up what I'm talking about in the background. Okay, so I guess I can.
It's a very stylish, psychedelic, what would you call that? Platform shooter?
What does this remind me of? The figure looks like something.
A maze? Perfect maze bait.
The big head, the design, reminds me of something. Oh well. Lots of things remind me of that I can't remember.
I played it quite a bit, a couple of hours.
Yeah.
Very fun. Very fun. Very hectic and bright and full of colors, but that's a nice game to just sit on the couch and play, and maybe even with someone else, taking turns.
What's this? Overgrowth?
Yeah, that was a thing back in the day when we were studying. It was developing it. You could buy it as alpha before there was anything like early access. He did it himself.
It looks
Yeah.
kind of familiar.
Yeah, I mean, the physics are so great, and he like developed everything by himself, I think. So, yeah, and I think he streamed a lot of or talked a lot of about the development process, and yeah, basically worked on it for like 10 years or something by himself.
There's a lot to talk about, like the new story.
And looks like it's finished.
And is it a proper RPG or is it just a fighting game with some cutscenes?
It's a proper RPG now. That's what it's supposed to be, but it has like stellar fighting, like very physical, very detailed. You can throw everything. The weapons behave differently. You can jump around and do wall jumps and all that stuff. And I think you might even get the code he used to write everything with. At least he's showing off now the editor he wrote. It's very cool.
Especially regarding bugs, performance, and compatibility.
Wolfire Games.
Nice.
Yeah. Super Time Force Ultra is supposedly pretty cool. Haven't played it, but I mean, I love the comic style. It's pixel graphics, and I think you can get some time mechanics. I think you can play it with multiple people as well. So it's a side-scroll shooter.
Yeah, it's a single-player co-op experience.
Huh. Okay. So I guess you can play.
Oh,
you can go
teaming
back in
up with
time.
your past selves.
Yeah.
Talk to her, Davey. Tell her how you really feel.
Interesting.
Yeah. Have you played Broken Age?
I have played it actually a while, but not. I think I played the first half. And then when I switched to the other one, I didn't continue. Have you?
No. I'm not so much into point and click. Although I mean, Double Fine. Worth a look now, I guess.
Okay, I'm gonna do this to myself. I always hated the trailer. They gave that off to some weird studio and they just spoiled the whole thing. Pretty annoying. We all hated it. But we weren't asked. Although it seems like this is a different one, because it's just using a couple of those beginning shots. Yeah, okay. Okay, yeah, seems like they made a better trailer. Good for them. Maybe that's the final cut. No idea what that means.
Yeah, probably like a reimagine, like a fixed version. Didn't win Game of the Year, but they still wanted to release a new version.
I think it did. I think we had 5 awards for it. That's how I knew that the trophy lights up.
Alright.
What? Oh, there they changed it. They didn't even do it right. Oh well. I shan't complain. Ooh, this looks interesting. Limbo-esque. My Memory of Us. Interesting. So it looks like there's a lot of interesting things in here. Obviously not 2000 games, but
49 or 48, I think, or 46, something.
Yeah.
More than 40. Should be enough for a year. It's so crazy to think back at the day when you had like just a handful of games you would play over and over again. Then you get so excited about this one new game that comes out in like a year, and then you buy this one because that's the kind of game you like. You just don't play anything else.
yeah. So somehow I feel like for me it started relatively early, the whole burning CDs and getting games from friends, and I mean obviously I have a buttload of more games now, but I think it was relatively quick that I had enough new stuff every now and then.
Yeah. Plunge is great, by the way. Played that quite a bit. It's in the itch bundle as well. Just very stylish, very quick, turn-based, very cool. But yeah, piracy was also a big thing in my. It came after this, but though, at first it was just a couple games, and then we figured out how to burn CDs. I mean, I think we swapped discs at first, but it was just a couple, just like 1 or 2 games, and then they were on CDs, and we started burning CDs. But even then, it was just like 1, 2, 3, 4 games, something like this.
Yeah. This Framed is actually a really cool game. Yeah, you switch around comic panels.
That's a pretty cool idea.
Change the outcome, basically. Very nice. I think I played... Oh, it's only 2. Okay, yes, I played Protoshock. I thought there may have been a third one out already, but... Yes, it's a very neat thing. I have it on my phone. It's very nice, that the thing of just dragging around the panels to change the flow of the thing. It's a very neat puzzle mechanic. So yes. Alright.
Regular human basketball looks amazing to play again. Also Power Hoof.
Yeah.
Awesome guys. And yeah, cool trailer.
Of course I do, Bill. I long to climb
That I guess does both. It shows gameplay and looks great.
in the completely standardized basketball way. As a regular,
Yeah, really looking forward.
I love many
I mean, I
games.
played a lot of
Puppies with a cute
Lovers in a
skating
Dangerous
above
Space Time with my girlfriend.
newly born humans with limited physical defense.
And
of
yeah,
course,
this looks very similar, but you can play against each other.
like attempting to place a spheroid inside the allocated basket.
Interesting
maybe
for
even-
sure.
Yeah.
Human basketball. Trigger such common basketball actions as shooting, stealing, or activating your magnet.
Was that you with the phone?
No, my phone is far away.
I clearly understand
Mine too.
the
I just
joys
got
of
interference in me.
Bill, like all us humans do.
But yeah, that's the bundle. Lots of more cool stuff in there. Definitely worth the price.
Yes.
Although, yeah, $30.
It's not cheap, but then it's for charity. So
No,
$10 per cause.
exactly.
Is it the NAACP Race Forward in the Bail Project? Yeah, looks good.
Yeah.
Cool. So, do you have anything else in your notes?
Yeah. I mean, the Steam Game Festival started.
And what is that?
I'm not too sure. Haven't really looked into it, but it looks like you can play demos or something from games, and that you get benefits, maybe even. I'm gonna send you.
Hundreds of free demos. It says.
So here's a couple of demos from German developers.
Okay.
And the last one is one I saw on Reddit that I found quite interesting to look at.
Okay. Let me quickly open those.
Yeah.
Alright, then let's see what we have here.
I think they are the German developers. Might be wrong.
Might be I'm wrong.
Yeah, I mean, only thing I know is that they are in the arena bundle, in the arena booth. Too many bundles. Yeah, they are both now part of the Steam Game Festival. If you play the game and wishes the game, obviously that's what they are.
Yeah, that is definitely
looking for.
German.
Oh, yeah. That looks cool. I love these games where you have where you're pretending you are on a laptop. Oh, even in the background, some people are walking or doing stuff. It's just, I don't know, because you're already on a PC.
Yeah,
It's
most
just
exciting thing to do there is to pretend to be on another PC.
Yeah.
Have you played Her Story?
No, not yet. I think I have it. So
Yeah, that was in pretty much every Humble Bundle.
yeah.
It's hard not to have it. I haven't played all the way through, but it's actually really cool. That just reminded me a bit of it with the video and stuff.
Yeah, me too. But I think like Jessica, calling it Jessica, and this pink font isn't really doing much good for them. I think a lot of people will disregard the game just by looking at it because it looks so 80s. I don't know, sitcom, rom-com.
Okay, I see what you mean, yeah. Well, I'm sure it'll find its audience.
Hopefully, yeah.
Okay, so this Steam Game Festival is a demo thing. Lots of free demos. Huh?
Would have been great if we had a demo.
Oh yeah, wouldn't that have been nice?
Of course. We missed it again, as always.
I mean, do we even have a demo?
Did the summer sale start already, by the way?
I don't know.
Probably not, right?
In that case, what summer sale?
There will be one. Everyone knows that. Just have to make sure that the Pepper Prince is part of it again.
I guess so. I mean, yeah. Okay.
Ooh, this looks cool. Yeah, I love these co-op games where you're like on one map and everyone has to. Yeah, I saw that somewhere before. I love games like this. It's just so much fun to play with 2 or 3 people, or even 4 if you have that many friends.
And your job is to like maintain it, or
Maybe one person controlling the ship and the others have to maintain.
oh, here it says you have a captain, turret operator, and a pyrophoric firefighter. What is pyrophoric?
Someone who loves pyrotechnic, maybe.
Like a fire fiend?
Yeah.
Or a spaceship janitor. Ah. So everybody has their role, it seems. And then what's this?
So I don't think it's from a German developer, but it looks very awesome. I mean,
yes, this
I'm
looks
just a
like
sucker
something you would like.
Yeah, I just love the first person. What's that? First person battle games.
Mm.
I mean, like, what was that? Something Messiah of Might and Magic. Dark Messiah. Reminds me of Dark Messiah. Like Dark Messiah had such a great first-person melee experience, and you could jump around and kick people from ledges, and sneak and all that fun stuff. I mean, obviously the enemies don't look very interesting, and all this they look just, I don't know, this black texturing. I don't know, not a big fan of. Dark Messiah of Might and Magic. That was such an amazing game.
Huh. Don't know
They
it.
they basically nailed the first person melee combat. Maybe you can put in a video to see.
The Dark Messiah.
You could like could disarm them, I think. And it was just such a great, like, it didn't feel like a huge like world story, but more of a personal one, and you got more stronger and stronger, and yeah, at times it was quite hard even.
Okay.
Great
Okay, then.
atmosphere as well.
It looks funny. So does it have a story, or?
Yeah, has a great story. Probably not great, but it has a decent story that you're like involved and want to find out more. I think I finished the game, like one of the few games I actually finished. Wasn't too long, was very gratifying violence. Very creative with the violence as well. Yeah, always like a lot of ways to get rid of all the enemies.
Maybe something for your future streaming list?
Maybe. Not sure if I have a copy of the game.
Ah, okay. Well, looks goofy. all for that, and I see what you mean. There were some things with the throwing of the barrels and stuff that looked similar.
Like all this physics, that's just great.
Interesting, interesting.
Yeah, right. They make lots of Twitch streams, or like streams on Steam, where you can see the devs play the games and talk about the development. There's the event schedule. Looks neat.
Certainly interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Steam really tries to get
People to buy
things.
stuff. Get people to buy stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, they have with Epic, they have a competitor now that's really trying. So,
was there anything interesting on Epic this week?
On Epic, yeah, I think today from today on you can get which game was that? Just today, but
let me check while I remember that Epic exists.
Pathway, also from a German developer. The spiritual success, no, the technical successor, I guess, from Halfway. So turn-based pixel graphics, and I mean, wow, the lighting in this game is so great. I love that one. I mean, the game is supposedly so. I mean, just looking at the Steam reviews, I haven't played it myself. It has the Indiana Jones feel, lots of tough turn-based combat, I guess. But I think the critiques are that it feels very samey after a while. But yeah, I mean, just look at the shadows.
Wait, what's happening? Oh.
Never.
Oh, that's the thing that you.
Yeah.
Is that what you showed me?
Yeah. I always asked them how they got the shadows so and they told me that they actually used 3D models and just to calculate where the shadows are. And then obviously they have to have some kind of shader to make the shadows pixely again. Yeah. Hopefully we can do similar stuff with the new rendering pipeline. That would be
Unity.
great, but haven't really looked into the new Unity pipeline yet. This is a Unity game as well, I think.
I see. Ooh, and I see next week they're gonna do the Stranger Things 3 game. I wanted to try it, but I didn't want to buy it.
Yeah, I get that. Have you even seen the season 3 of Stranger Things? Well, it looks kind of good, actually.
So I guess I have to quickly watch it so I can play this next week.
Yeah, so you don't get spoiled by the game. I mean, I loved all the seasons.
Yeah, I didn't care for season 2. Felt weak. Anywho. So, is that us? Or do you have something else on your...
I have something else.
Wow, you're so prepared.
Yeah, I guess on my list is today's Ashley Birch's birthday.
Oh. Well, since she's a fan of the show, happy birthday.
Yeah. Hey, Ashley. Happy birthday. Also, I heard that the police in Leipzig actually was found guilty for selling confiscated bikes. Yeah.
Yeah, I heard about that. Right.
Just to reiterate, the police is not your friend, unfortunately.
Fuck cops.
Selling stone things back to you. What the fuck? Such a weird thing to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just fucking.
Yeah. The last thing on my list. So I stumbled upon that name. I'm not even sure if I should reveal it, but I don't know what to do with this. But so I just found out. You know what a necromancer is, obviously.
Yeah.
But a necomancer.
Neko.
So, yeah, neko is the Japanese word for cat. So I guess it would be someone who summons cats. Not sure if this is a game studio name or maybe a name for a game. I'm not sure yet. Maybe it's a game for your indie band.
Necomancer.
Yeah.
Okay.
Necomancer.com is still free, so maybe I have to check Twitter if there's a Necomancer Twitter.
Oh, so this is not a thing that exists as an idea.
No, it's not. It's not. That's what I'm saying. Okay, there is a Necomancer on Twitter at least, and the person seems to be Japanese. Yeah, makes sense.
I see.
Necomancer. Yeah, I think I'd like to call my indie band Necomancer. But seeing as I don't have any musical skills, I guess I can just put it out there in the world. Do with this what you want.
I mean,
get necomancer.com and do whatever you want with this.
I mean, if it's gonna be an indie band anyway, then you can also just program the music.
Right.
Get yourself a band of indies together. All right. Cool. But now you're done, right?
That's it for me.
I keep trying to end the show, and you have more and more prepared. Crazy. So then, as we mentioned earlier, there is a crisis in Yemen that we can stand to learn more about and try to help out some. Here's a collection of resources, ways to donate.
Go on the YouTube link, you will find the Al Jazeera primer I watched. That's gives you pretty good overview.
But yeah, they're basically they're battling with all the things. Like in addition to Corona, there's also cholera epidemic and everything. It is hectic. There are ways to donate, fundraisers, petitions to sign. So the link is yemencrisis.card with double R, CARD.co. yemencrisis.card.co.
What's a weird URL, by the way? We had that last time too.
Yeah. I mean, it's apparently like an online PowerPoint or something, just from what I gather. I haven't really looked into it. I'm also not sure if card means anything or if it's like Tumblr or something, just like a weird spelling too. But yeah, no, just seems to be one of those things. Well, so yes, yemencrisis.card.co. That's CARRD.co. And yeah, lots of things going on. And I guess with this, we conclude this week's Hoot Out. If you're just dying to see our stupid faces some more, and I guess in addition to the usual Twitter and everything, you can also follow us on Twitch/Heckenstein. And I am streaming under Crabatorium. Well, I think it's linked on our Twitch stream. I put it in the auto host list, so you should be able to find all of this. And if you follow Heckenstein, then maybe he'll stream some more.
Yeah, I might.
Oh, something that I keep forgetting to show off. Okay, as a final little thing. In January, I think, I participated in the Pirate Jam pre-jam skirmish, and I actually won a little something. A notepad. So, Pirate Jam notepad.
Wow, that looks cool.
Cool stuff, yeah, for notes. But even cooler. A doubloon. Look at that. And I think it's proper silver because it's getting darker just from being in the air.
Yeah, it's probably not pure silver though.
Maybe not. But who knows? They made silver and gold once. They said they look silver and gold, and I said it's like reacting. This arrived nice and silver. Now you can kind of see it's getting little. Does this kind of focus? No, it doesn't. But it's pretty cool. It's heavy, and there was streaming The Curse of Monkey Island, and not once remembering to show that I have a cool pirate doubloon. So I'm doing it now. Anyway, that's us. That's our show. I guess we'll see you next time. As always, Fridays, 4 p.m. CEST. And do we rattle through the list of links where you can follow us, or we just
did
assume
it a couple of times, but just scroll a little bit down.
Yeah,
you can see them all.
It's all linked. You don't need to hear this. You know this already, or you don't care. Either way. So yes, have a good week. Read up on the Yemen crisis. Also, look up organizations to support trans lives, because those rights are also under attack in the US. And yeah, as always, Black Lives Matter, and just be a good person, basically.
Yeah.
Do something. Do something, for God's sake. Bye.
Bye-bye.